We're going to talk about the myth of a good childhood because some people weren't neglected. They weren't even abused. They were managed. They were never met. So there's no bruises, no screaming, and no closed doors. Just a house where everything was fine except you were freezing and no one noticed. This is what I call the myth of a good childhood because it's hard to heal from something that doesn't look like harm. You have structure, a bedtime, and meals and manners and birthday cakes. But your sadness, your joy, your inner world, it didn't exist inside that house. We know this. Me and you both know this. Not because anyone was cruel, but because no one was curious. No one even hurt you. They never got to. They just never even saw you. The body is an archive and it holds all that too. Because the body remembers, right, the silence after you tried to share. The body remembers the eye roll when you got too excited. The body remembers that quick subject change when you got too sad. So you stopped asking, you stopped shining, you shrunk into your range of all your emotions fit into one socially acceptable smile, and you were praised for being easy. The wound wasn't what happened, it was what never did. So now you have an adult who can't call it trauma. Now you say shit like, I had a good childhood, nothing happened to me. And that's exactly the point. Nothing happened. No comfort, no mirroring, no one asking how does that feeling meaning it. So now you live in a loop of over-functioning, hoping someone finally notices the grief you weren't allowed to feel. And here's the thing. It's not that they didn't love you. It's that they loved a version of you that didn't ask for anything real. So now the cold grows. It grows in polite homes where the thermostat is always set and the emotional climate is never changed. No crisis, just absence. No chaos, just emptiness in a beautiful frame. And so the child becomes the adult who doesn't know how to rest unless something's wrong, who can't feel joy unless it's earned, who mistrusts tenderness unless there's a catch. You never learn to feel safe and warmth because warmth never stayed long enough to be trusted. There's no villain here. And that's kind of the hardest part. It's just a room that stayed too quiet for too long. So now there's a child that lives inside you who's neat, smart, praised, and frozen all at the same time. Honestly, this is the part 2 to my You're Not Fine, You're Frozen video, and I hope that you can feel it. Because the thing is that you don't need to dig for pain that never happened. You just need to honor the pain of what never did. It's okay if the story isn't dramatic. It's okay if it's valid. It's okay if it's quiet because it's still valid. You deserve warmth. You still deserve the thaw. You don't need everything to be large and in charge. There is like in sometimes in this kind of cases, when these type of people freeze over, they think they can over intellectualize their stuff. They always end up drifting into therapy speech, real aggressively in the therapy speech. They'll talk about how they could, they touch their focus points and, they remember to be feeling held today and they know how to say all the right things. But the issue is that everyone always knew how to say the right things. They never had permission to say the wrong ones. That's really the case, right? So I call it the myth of a good childhood. We hear about it all the time. But only thing that's good about it is that they weren't hit. That's all they got. That's all they got. And I'm not saying this so that you can make that these type of people could just feel preyed upon or like these type of people could feel bad. No. I wanted you to feel seen. Because it's important to understand that you have clearance and permission to throw out. It's okay. It's okay. Bro, my own friend that says he has a good childhood. He does. He swears to me. And he can't cry. And I know. Because he got sad and he couldn't cry. So, and I think that's okay. But I also think that's something to grieve to.